The unexpected date. The warm glow of string lights danced across the cozy cafe windows as Emma hurried down the sidewalk, her worn sneakers splashing through shallow puddles left by the afternoon rain. She clutched a crumpled piece of paper with an address scrawled in her sister's elegant handwriting, her heart hammering against her ribs. This was supposed to be Rebecca's night. Rebecca, with her designer clothes and confident smile, was meant to meet the mysterious businessman their mutual friend had arranged. But food poisoning had struck at the worst possible moment, leaving Emma to take her place at the last minute. "Just go," Rebecca had pleaded from her bed, looking miserable. "Tell him I'm sick and apologize. It'll only take 5 minutes." Emma paused outside the cafe, peering through the frosted glass. The interior looked expensive, all polished wood and soft lighting, the kind of place where a single coffee probably cost more than her lunch budget. She smoothed her simple blue dress, the nicest thing she owned, and took a deep breath. Inside, the warmth embraced her immediately. The scent of fresh coffee and vanilla filled the air, mixing with the gentle murmur of conversation. Her eyes swept the room, searching for a man sitting alone. Most tables were occupied by couples or small groups, their faces lit by the golden ambiance. Then she spotted him. At a corner table near the window sat a tall man in a navy suit jacket. His dark hair was perfectly styled, and even from across the room, she could see the expensive cut of his clothes. But it wasn't his appearance that made her pause, it was the way he sat, shoulders slightly tense, checking his watch with the air of someone accustomed to precision. As she approached, he looked up. His eyes were a striking hazel, framed by dark lashes, and for a moment, she forgot why she was there. "Are you waiting for Rebecca?" she asked softly. He stood immediately, his height impressive even as he smiled. "I'm Michael, and you're not Rebecca, are you?" Emma felt her cheeks warm. "I'm Emma, her sister. Rebecca is really sick, food poisoning. She sent me to apologize and explain that she can't make it tonight." "I'm sorry you had to wait." She started to turn, but his voice stopped her. "Wait." Michael's tone was gentle but firm. "Since you're here, would you like to sit for a moment? I've already ordered coffee for 2. Emma hesitated. This wasn't part of the plan. She was supposed to deliver the message and leave. But something in his expression, not disappointment, but genuine curiosity, made her reconsider. "I don't want to waste your time," she said. "You wouldn't be." He gestured to the chair across from him. "Please." Almost against her better judgment, she sat. The leather chair was more comfortable than anything in her tiny apartment. Michael poured coffee from an elegant pot into delicate porcelain cups, and the rich aroma made her realize how long it had been since she'd tasted really good coffee. "So, Emma," he said, settling back in his chair. "Tell me about yourself." She nearly laughed. "Trust me, I'm not nearly as interesting as Rebecca. She's the one with the marketing degree and the corner office. I just work at the community center with kids." "That sounds more interesting than most corner offices," he replied, and something in his tone suggested he meant it. Before she could respond, a small voice interrupted them. "Daddy." A little girl with curly auburn hair bounded toward their table, her face lighting up with pure joy. She couldn't have been more than 6, wearing a light blue dress with a Peter Pan collar that matched her bright, curious eyes. "Sophie," Michael said, his entire demeanor transforming as he lifted her onto his lap. "I thought you were coloring with Mrs. Henderson." "I finished my picture," Sophie announced proudly, holding up a drawing of what appeared to be a family of stick figures under a rainbow. "Who's this lady, Daddy?" Emma felt a flutter of understanding. A single father. The expensive suit, the careful scheduling, the slight tension she'd noticed, it all made sense now. "This is Emma," Michael said gently. "Emma, this is my daughter, Sophie." "Hi, Sophie," Emma said, her voice naturally warm. "That's a beautiful drawing." Sophie beamed and slid off her father's lap to stand beside Emma's chair. "Do you like rainbows?" "I love them. They're like nature's way of smiling, don't you think?" The little girl's eyes widened with delight. "That's exactly what I think. Daddy, she gets it." Michael watched this exchange with something that looked like wonder. "Sophie has very specific opinions about art," he explained. "All the best artists do," Emma replied seriously, earning a giggle from Sophie. "Are you having a grown-up dinner?" Sophie asked, looking between them. "Just coffee," Emma said. "Your daddy was very kind to share it with me. Daddy makes the best hot chocolate," Sophie confided in a stage whisper. "But only on special nights." "Sophie," Michael said gently, "why don't you show Emma your coloring book while I ask Mrs. Henderson to bring us some hot chocolate." As Michael stepped away to speak with the elderly woman who had apparently been watching Sophie, Emma found herself genuinely enchanted by the little girl's chatter about school, her friends, and her elaborate plans for a treehouse. "Daddy works a lot," Sophie said suddenly, her voice dropping to a more serious tone. "He gets sad sometimes when he thinks I'm not looking." Emma's heart squeezed. "I bet he loves you very much." "He does, but I think he gets lonely." Sophie looked at Emma with the startling perceptiveness that children sometimes possess. "Are you lonely too?" The question caught Emma off guard. She thought about her small apartment, her solitary dinners, the way she threw herself into work to avoid thinking about the life she dreamed of having. "Sometimes," she admitted. "Maybe you could be unlonely together," Sophie suggested with the simple logic of childhood. When Michael returned with steaming mugs of hot chocolate topped with marshmallows, he found Emma and Sophie bent over the coloring book together, Emma helping to fill in an intricate castle while Sophie provided detailed commentary about who lived in each tower. "You're really good at that," he observed, sliding into his seat. "I get lots of practice at work," Emma said, accepting her hot chocolate gratefully. "Some of the kids I work with are amazing artists." "What kind of work do you do there?" he asked, and she could tell his interest was genuine. As Emma talked about the after-school programs, the art classes, and the summer camps, she watched Michael's expression. There was something in his eyes, respect, maybe even admiration, that she wasn't used to seeing when she described her job. "It sounds like you're making a real difference," he said quietly. "It doesn't pay much," she found herself admitting. "But it matters. The best things usually don't pay much," he replied. "Trust me, I know something about jobs that pay well but don't always matter." The conversation flowed naturally from there. Michael told her about building his company from nothing, about the pressure and responsibility, about trying to balance success with being the father Sophie deserved. Emma shared stories about the kids she worked with, about finding joy in small victories and the satisfaction of watching children discover their own creativity. Time seemed to slip away unnoticed. Sophie eventually curled up in her father's lap, drowsy from the warm chocolate and the cozy atmosphere, but still occasionally contributing to the conversation with sleepy observations. "I should go," Emma finally said, noticing how late it had gotten. "You both probably need to get home." "Wait," Michael said, the same gentle firmness in his voice as before. Would you like to do this again? I mean, actually plan this time." Emma looked at him, this successful, handsome man who could probably have dinner with anyone he chose, and then at Sophie, who had opened one sleepy eye to look at her hopefully. "I'd like that," she said softly. "Really?" Sophie perked up immediately. "Can we have hot chocolate again?" "Definitely," Emma laughed. As Michael helped Sophie into her coat and Emma gathered her things, she couldn't help but marvel at how the evening had unfolded. She'd come to deliver an apology and found something she hadn't even known she was looking for. "Emma," Michael said as they stepped outside into the cool night air, Sophie's hand secure in his. "Thank you." "For what?" He was quiet for a moment, looking down at his daughter, who was humming contentedly and swinging their joined hands. "For seeing us," he said simply. As Emma walked home through the gentle evening, she thought about Sophie's words. Maybe you could be unlonely together. Sometimes, she reflected, the most unexpected detours led to exactly where you needed to be. Behind her, the cafe's warm lights continued to glow, a beacon of possibility in the darkness.